Well, demonstrators in eastern Germany have been staging sit-ins and blocking roads to protest a convention of the far-right Alternative for Germany party, the AfD. Police had to clear the way to the two-day conference in the town of Riesa near Dresden. It's taking place ahead of federal elections set for late February. The latest polling sees the AfD coming in second place. However, Germany's other parties refuse to work with the AfD and have committed to keeping a so-called firewall in place to keep them out of power. For more, let's cross over to Riesa, where the AfD convention is taking place. We have our political correspondents there, Matthew Moore at the venue and Alex Gerst in front of the building where you can see there's some protests taking place. Alex, what are protesters demanding?
Well, essentially, they are demanding that the far-right AfD not being here in Riesa, that they are not coming here to Riesa. Police estimate that around 10,000 protesters are here. And the organizers, they come from very different areas of civil society. We've got unions here, we've got other NGOs, we've got the Grandmothers Against the Far Right. I'm tempted to say the usual organizations are here, organizations that always show up whenever there's a party congress in any German city from the far-right AfD. As you can see behind me, most of the protesters here, they are protesting peacefully. There's music playing, there are concerts. And they are here because they see, or many of them, they see the AfD as a fascist threat to democracy. I quote the organizers here. Essentially the strategy of the protesters here was to block the AfD delegates from arriving at the venue. Streets were blocked starting from from this morning, 6 a.m. And I'm pretty sure that lots of those protesters, that they will see it as a success that the AfD party congress had to be delayed, or started with a delay of more than 2 hours.
Alex, Germany's domestic intelligence agency has classified parts of the AfD as right-wing extremists. Can you tell us more specifically about their platform and why there is such pushback to it?
Well, the AfD currently is flying high in the polls, around 20%. The co-leader, Alice Weidel from the far-right AfD, she is one of the most popular politicians in Germany at the moment. That means the AfD is a relevant force in German politics, but it is also a party that, as you have said, is considered, at least in parts, right-wing extremist, that is tolerating radical people, radical members, so they are tolerated by the leadership. And they have also well-documented links to right-wing extremism. So this may be one answer why so many people are here, why so many people are concerned. But we also have to say regarding the protest that the police was very clear that they have said that peaceful protest against the far-right AfD, yes, but whenever protesters try to block off AfD delegates, then they will have to use force, because it's the police's obligation to protect the AfD party congress and also the AfD politicians here.
Thanks so much for that, Alex. Let's turn inside and speak to Matthew Moore. Matthew, can you tell us what is actually happening at this convention today?
That's right, Claire. I'm inside the building, and the main purpose of today is about anointing, if you like, the leader Alice Weidel as their candidate for Chancellor. That's a big step for this party that was founded just a decade ago, or a little over a decade ago, and that's because it's the first time that they're basically saying we want to put forward a candidate to run Germany. And today it's about showing unity. This is a party that isn't completely united, as you see when you look at the manifesto, which they'll be voting on today. There's parts in there where there's disagreement. They're disagreeing about whether or not Germany should pull out of the European Union, which would be a massive policy decision. And they're also in disagreement about Russia and whether to put criticism of Vladimir Putin on the manifesto. But fundamentally, this is about going into this election on February 23rd with the wind in their back, because they're doing well in the polls, they're united. But they know that they have no chance of getting into power because of that firewall that you talked about. The other parties don't want to do business with them. So this is about just getting a record result in that election and remaining united, at least to the outside.
Now, Matthew, many of those watching will know that the tech billionaire Elon Musk has been promoting the AfD, even inviting its co-party leader to do an interview this week. How much do you think his support actually benefits the AfD?
Claire, there's a lot of excitement and enthusiasm in the room about Elon Musk endorsing the AfD, for sure, because there's a lot that they agree on. They're disruptors, he's a libertarian, its leader's a libertarian, but there's also concern in the party. Not everyone thinks that his attention is necessarily a good thing. That's because there are some people who think he represents the wrong kind of policies, kind of a supranational tech interest rather than the interests of, say, the German people, and they're worried that he's a bit erratic and that he could drop them or turn against them if he doesn't like maybe their policies when it comes to Germany kind of maybe doing more business with Russia or any manner of issues. So there's a bit of scepticism, but fundamentally they're quite happy to have his attention at the moment because they know that it's a step along the way to normalisation of this party, which has, as my colleague Alex said, is in part designated as an extremist far-right party by the security services here in Germany. Is basically, there is a cordon sanitaire around the party by other political parties in Germany, so they know that they need people like Elon Musk to give them attention and to endorse them if they're ever going to become normal in the eyes of the German public.
Well, thank you both so much for your reporting today. That is DW's political correspondents, Alex Gerst and Matthew Moore from the AfD convention in Riesa.